CJ Stroud had one of the best rookie seasons for a quarterback in recent memory. I think he's established himself as a top 10 quarterback, and top 5 is absolutely on the table depending on how he develops. In his rookie year, he threw 26 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, over 4,500 yards. He was in the top 5 in passer rating, EPA per drop back. Really the only metric he didn't perform great in was on and off target percentage. And then looking at this plot, which has PFF passing grade on the y-axis and adjusted EPA per play on the x-axis, and this is for rookie quarterbacks since 2006. You can see CJ Stroud is in the top right corner. That's the place to be. And he really showed that he's the complete package as a quarterback. He's got the arm talent to make every single throw. He can throw with touch. He can throw with velocity. He's a good processor, quick decision maker. And the one major question about him coming out of college was his play extension ability, and he answered all of those questions in his rookie year. I want to start by looking at some of his best deep passes from the 2023 season. This first play against Arizona, he escapes the pocket, rolls out to the right. Tank Dell extends his route to the end zone, and with pressure in his face on the move, he's able to launch this over the corner, get the touchdown with perfect ball placement. This is the first play from the Colts game in week 18, just a simple play action shot play. Nico Collins on the deep post against Juju Brents. Stroud throws this 59 yards in the air while he's getting hit. Pretty much perfect ball placement. Nico Collins does have to slow down a little bit, but he doesn't have to completely break his stride, certainly not to the point where a 4-5-3 corner can get back in the picture and Nico Collins goes untouched into the end zone. This play against Tampa Bay, they've got Tank Dell running a stop and go. He sits down about 10 yards into his route, freezes Carlton Davis, and then accelerates over the top. Great job by Stroud to sell this double move, and then just perfect ball placement here. Tank Dell can sprint underneath this pass and it drops right into his hands. This play from the Cleveland game really shows the full extent of CJ Stroud's arm talent. Not only can he throw deep from a clean pocket, he can generate velocity while he's getting hit and the ball just flies off of his hand. Nico Collins beats Greg Newsome in man coverage. JOK's coming unblocked to lay a hit on CJ Stroud. As he's getting hit, the ball explodes off of his hand. Collins does have to make a bit of an adjustment, but this is an outstanding play under pressure. This play from week 3, the Jags are doing a late coverage rotation, which is pretty poorly designed because Rayshawn Jenkins has no realistic opportunity to recover to the deep middle, so the middle of the field is wide open for this post route. Stroud splits these two outside defenders, gets it over the top of Rayshawn Jenkins and drops it in the bucket. I really like this play from the Broncos game. The pocket's getting compressed. He starts to extend the play, but you've got a coverage bust from Justin Simmons. He abandons his responsibility in the deep half. Stroud identifies this out of the corner of his eye. He's able to reset his base, quick release for a big play. But CJ Stroud isn't just a high-level deep ball thrower. He can attack every level of the field. He can target tight zone coverage windows over the middle. Not only does he have the arm talent and velocity to fit it in there, but he's got the anticipation to recognize when routes are going to come open. This play from the divisional round, it's 3rd and 13. The Texans have 2 vertical routes on the right side of the field, and then they've got Nico Collins on a backside dig. Stroud reads the coverage. He sees this backside safeties picking up the seam route from the number 2, and the curl flat defender is getting a ton of width to the numbers, so that opens up the window for the backside dig. He buys some time for the route to develop. He also drifts to the left in the pocket just to maximize this throwing window, and the Texans get a conversion on 3rd and long. Game-winning touchdown here against Tampa Bay. If you watched the Bryce Young video that I just did, or really if you watch any NFL offense, you'll know that double posts in the red zone is one of the most consistently effective concepts. When you get inside the 20 or 30 yard line, defenses are going to run a lot of quarters, and double posts is a really effective quarters beater. This first post route from Noah Brown occupies the safety, and then you've got a second post route from Tank Dell against an outside leverage corner. You just got to fit it into a tight window before the safety can disengage and make a play on it. This one against the Colts is another example of being able to access his arm talent regardless of if he's getting hit or if he's got a clean pocket to step into. It's just a 7-step drop with a post route and a dig from Nico Collins. He's got pressure in his face. He's throwing off his back foot, but he still fits it in between this corner and the single high safety. Right here, it's 3rd and 10. He's going to hit Nico Collins on this dig route. The Panthers are in quarters coverage, but the Texans are in 3-by-1 after the motion, so they've got 3 receivers to one side of the formation. To deal with that numbers overload in quarters, the backside safety is going to play poach technique on in-breaking routes from the strong side of the formation. So the backside safety's he's looking for something like this dig route from Noah Brown to break on. The hook defender's kind of just a sitting duck over the middle of the field, so Stroud's able to fit this into an incredibly tight window and move the chains. So we've talked about deep passing, we've talked about throwing over the middle. I think the other really impressive aspect of CJ Stroud's game is how effective he is throwing to the sideline. When you're throwing out-breaking routes, especially against tighter man coverage, you've got razor thin windows that you've got to fit the ball into, and the space between the receiver and the sideline runs out fast, so you've got to be perfect with your timing. And you see consistently on his tape, 3rd and short, 3rd and medium, he can hit that speed out with perfect ball placement, not give the corner an opportunity to impact the throw. This play against the Bucks, it's 4th and goal from the 9-yard line, hits Dalton Schultz near the pylon for a touchdown. There's actually a video of CJ Stroud breaking down this play against the Titans on the Athletic Football Show YouTube channel. He did an interview with Nate Tice, so definitely check that out. But this is a great example of quick processing and then routine ball placement once he makes his decision. So Stroud's reading this strong side hook defender. Once he sees him establish inside leverage on Dalton Schultz's route, he knows that the Titans are in 2-man, and in 2-man, the corners are playing inside leverage trail technique, so he's going to have an opportunity to hit Nico Collins on this deep out and move the chains on 3rd down. This is just teach tape on using context clues to get the full picture of the defense and then being decisive getting rid of the ball. This deep out from week 3 is one of the first plays when I saw it on tape the next week that kind of made me realize what CJ Stroud's made of. He's trying to hit Nico Collins on this in breaker, but he can't really separate from Tyson Campbell, and they've got inside help bracketing the route. But Stroud quickly transitions to the backside of the play, perfect placement on this deep comeback to Robert Woods. So if you're facing a quarterback that can outthrow your coverage vertically, he can exploit any window you leave open over the middle of the field, and he consistently attacks deep and outside the hashes, you don't really have a lot of options to defend him. There isn't one coverage or one leverage that you can play with to neutralize the Texans passing game, especially when they've got separators like Nico Collins and Tank Dell on the outside. But the thing that surprised me the most about CJ Stroud and what really ties him together as a quarterback is his play extension ability. At Ohio State, there were very few times where he had to break outside of the pocket and create out of structure, deal with pressure. So a lot of people, myself included, thought that could be an area that he would struggle with in the NFL when he wasn't playing with consistently clean pockets and receivers weren't getting open as early and as often. But then he has that performance against Georgia in the playoffs where he looks like one of the best out of structure quarterback prospects that we've ever seen. And that game definitely made me warm up to CJ Stroud as a prospect. The question was just, is the Georgia game a fluke, or was he just never given the opportunity to showcase this skill set in Ohio State's offense? But he gets to the NFL, and it turns out that the Georgia game is the real CJ Stroud. His poise under pressure, his ability to extend plays, create outside of the pocket was so impressive in his rookie year. I thought the Bengals game in week 10 was one of his best performances, but it especially highlighted his play extension ability, and he made a lot of plays that people questioned if he could make coming out of college. This play, they've got a play action bootleg to the left into the pressure of Trey Hendrickson. He avoids the pressure, steps up into the pocket, starts to roll out to the left, but all of the routes are developing to the right side of the field, so he's not going to have anywhere to go with the ball. So he reverses his track, rolls out to the right, gets his eyes downfield, sees Noah Brown wide open, and gets it to him with a flick of his wrist. Another play from the Bengals game, doesn't see anything open initially, although he could possibly hit Devin Singletary on this angle route, but he escapes the pressure to the right, keeps his eyes downfield, and hits Robert Woods in the back of the end zone. Similar play here against the Bucks. Again, they're in the red zone. He rolls out to the right, throws a dot to Dalton Schultz that he can't come down with. I think this was the most impressive aspect of CJ Stroud's game as a rookie. He didn't take a lot of sacks, but he was able to make so many plays outside of the pocket. He has the size to escape pressure. He consistently keeps his eyes downfield, looks for open receivers, and then once he sees somebody open, he's got enough arm strength and a quick enough release to get it where it needs to go. Compared to most rookies, and especially all of the rookie quarterbacks, I don't have a whole lot of criticisms of CJ Stroud's game. The The two things I would highlight that need to improve are decision making and accuracy. He only threw 5 interceptions as a rookie, but he did have some interception luck in my opinion. He had 18 turnover-worthy plays, 10 dropped interceptions. I wouldn't say his decision making was bad, but when we talk about top 5 quarterback potential, that is something that needs to be cleaned up for him to reach his upside. His first career interception resulted in a 1st and 10 for the Texans because Zach Bond ended up fumbling. He's trying to throw this in-breaking route to Dalton Schultz, probably expecting the flat presence to hold the hook defender, which is Zach Bond, and widen out the window. But the hook defender drifts inside with the route and gets an easy interception. This play, he's targeting a drag route near the goal line off of play action, doesn't identify a dropping flat defender, and another pitch and catch interception. He had a few bad decisions against the Jets. This first one, he misreads the hook defenders, doesn't see CJ Mosley breaking on this slant route, but he drops the interception. This play, he's thrown a dig route to Robert Woods. Devin Lloyd is right in between the passing lane, doesn't put enough air on this, but again, Devin Lloyd drops the interception, and then Darius Williams drops the second interception attempt. Right here, he thinks he's got Nico Collins open on the post, but the safety sinks and gets an interception in the red zone. This play against Cincinnati, it's a bootleg to the right. Tank Dell kind of drifts his route upfield. Stroud doesn't put enough on this throw, but it's probably just a decision he shouldn't make regardless, and the Bengals almost get a pick 6. He also had some interceptions and turnover-worthy throws that are more just anticipating one of his receivers to get open, and they're obviously bad plays, but I kind of have a hard time praising someone for throwing with anticipation and then being super critical of them when it doesn't work out. This first one against Arizona, he's expecting Tank Dell to separate on the deep out. He doesn't get this far enough outside. The corner's able to undercut it for the interception. This play is kind of what I was talking about, where we give quarterbacks credit for throwing before receivers are out of their breaks and anticipating windows opening up over the middle of the field. But sometimes you're going against a really well-coached back seven like the Jets, where they can recognize route combos in zone coverage. Michael Carter, number 30, one of the most underrated players in the NFL, by the way. He recognizes that he's got a receiver releasing to the outside of him. He reads CJ Stroud's eyes, sees that he's targeting the middle of the field, so he knows that there's most likely a dig route developing behind him. He's able to slide with the route, drops the easy interception, but still a great play up until the catch point. Similar play here, but it's more anticipating someone to separate against man. Stroud throws this expecting John Mechie to separate out of his break, but Sauce Gardner's right on his hip. Probably puts this a little bit too far inside, but it's more of just what comes with expecting your receivers to get open. You're going to have throws like that. And then he also had a couple throws that should have been intercepted where he didn't see the single high safety crashing down on an in-breaking route. This first one from the Browns game, he's targeting Noah Brown on the dig route. Denzel Ward doesn't allow much separation, but he's also got Juan Thornhill breaking on the route, and the only reason it wasn't intercepted is because the coverage from Ward was too tight and he ended up breaking up the pass. And then right here, deep over to Robert Woods, Jesse Bates reads it the whole way, but he can't get a clean attempt on it and he drops the interception. So despite throwing just 5 interceptions, I do think that decision making is something CJ Stroud needs to improve. And when you think about potential causes of regression in his second year, that's the main thing that stands out, is he doesn't improve his decision making and he gets worse interception luck. The other thing he needs to improve is just more consistent ball placement. We've seen flashes of elite ball placement from CJ Stroud, and rookies usually struggle with accuracy, so I am pretty optimistic that this will improve. But there were a lot of missed opportunities on his tape last year, and to me, this is the biggest deciding factor between him being a top 10 and a top 5 quarterback. This play, Tank Dell gets behind the coverage, but CJ Stroud overthrows him. Another overthrow to Nico Collins here in the wild card game would have been an easy touchdown. This play from week 18, they catch the corner sleeping. Dalton Schultz is able to get a couple steps of separation over the top, but again, CJ Stroud overthrows him. Right here, John Mechie extends his route. He's wide open with no one in his way to the end zone. CJ Stroud can't hit him, and then he overthrew this goal line fade to Nico Collins. Again, against Denver. There's plenty of other missed throws, but I mean, these are 5 plays that could have easily been touchdowns, so you can see the path to him being an even more productive quarterback if he just cleans up some of the ball placement. So overall, if you're a Texans fan, you've got to be thrilled with what CJ Stroud showed as a rookie. Basically, all of the questions that he had as a prospect, it ended up being the best case scenario. He was more dynamic out of structure than I think even the biggest CJ Stroud fans could have expected. And as he is now, I think he's comfortably a top 10 to 12 quarterback. But if he can tighten up his accuracy and show the consistent ball placement that he showed in college, I think he could easily be top 5. And I would like him to do a better job protecting the football, even if those interception opportunities weren't always converted by the defense. But if you're coming off your rookie season and the main coaching points are just like, yeah, you need to clean up a couple things, I think you're sitting in a great position.